First Baptist Church of Vandalia began on August 28, 1955 with 50 charter members, but our story starts a few years earlier. Our church was planted by the Vandalia Baptist Mission. This mission was organized by North Dayton Baptist Church as an effort to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with those north of downtown Dayton. Those taking part in the first services were Reverend William Beasley, who was the pastor of North Dayton Baptist Church, and Reverend Hiram Schreiner, who continued on as our church's first pastor. Now in 1950, Vandalia was a village with its center at the intersection of two coast-to-coast highways, Route 40 and Route 25, earning it the nickname the Crossroads of America. Farmland surrounded the village, except for the northwest corner, which was James M. Cox Municipal Airport. The Vandalia Baptist Mission was organized on August 24, 1952. 12 members met in the second story of Hawk's Pharmacy at the intersection of National and Dixie in the very heart of Vandalia. In September of 1953, the Vandalia Baptist Mission moved into a hangar at the airport, later known as the Dayton International Airport. This terminal was built at the start of World War II as a base for the Air Force. The hangars were two-story, with the second story being used to store and repair airplane parts. It was in this second story that the church met. A newspaper labeled it the Church in the Air, saying that it was the only airport in the country that could offer its patrons religious services on the spot. From the hangar, the mission moved into a small white building on the airport grounds, where it remained until it moved into the present church site at 140 Elva Court in December of 1956 at a cost of $16,000. This unit contained an auditorium, a pastor's study, a kitchen, nursery, and restrooms. Now, there weren't any classrooms in the first unit, so the Sunday school classes gathered in little groups all around the auditorium. This continued until 1959, when the south side of the auditorium was portioned off to make classroom space. However, God continued to grow His church, and in 1963, due to the lack of educational space, rooms were rented at Butler High School, relocating Sunday school classes to school grounds. This continued for 2 years until the second unit of the church facilities were complete. In the following decade, the third and fourth units of our church were completed, allowing a seating capacity of 750, fellowship hall, classrooms, and kitchen. The building was completed in May of 1991 and added 25,000 square feet of building space, including a larger foyer and a welcome center. The original church building at this time became the home for children in preschool worship and teaching. In October 2002, a major fire destroyed our sanctuary, spreading fire and smoke throughout the whole building. The Vandalia Butler High School reached out and offered their building to the church for weekly services. The reconstruction of the facility took 9 months, and during this time, our worship services were held in Vandalia Butler High School's auditorium. FBC experienced growth in membership, buildings, personnel, programs, and technology. Our new multi-purpose space was constructed and aptly named the Hangar, which gave a nod to our humble beginnings at the airport. 2007 saw the passing of lead pastor Charles Betts, who was our longest-serving pastor, serving for 31 years. Our current lead pastor, Pastor David Starry, was selected by our pastor search committee to fill the position in 2008, where he continues to serve to this day. International mission trips began in 1997 with a trip to Ukraine, and mission projects have continued with members of our church going on mission to Oneida, Kentucky, Madison, Wisconsin, Nashville, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana, Thailand, Nicaragua, Haiti, Malawi, and East Asia. We also began new partnerships with other churches and ministry organizations. And in 2014, the need once again arose for more space. Our children and preschool ministries were overcrowded, having outgrown the original church buildings. And unlike the past, our desire was to pay for this new children's building out of pocket, not going into debt to make the project happen. Thus began the Next Steps capital campaign. The church gave sacrificially, and the building project was fully funded later that year. In 2015, our leadership reevaluated the vision of our church in several roundtable style services. Lead Pastor David Starry, along with Pastors Luke Francis, Bob Boyd, and Scott Snyder, discussed what the future of FBC looked like. And that vision became what is now known as the K4 Vision, our church seeking restoration for 1,000 new families in 4 new communities. The model we began this journey with was the multi-site model, meaning our church was no longer going to be located in only one location. And because of this, in 2018, we changed our name from First Baptist Church of Vandalia to First Light Church to reflect a church that wasn't tied to one singular location. In September of 2018, we saw the launch of our Butler Township campus led by campus pastor Scott Snyder. This new campus began meeting in Smith Middle School for Sunday gatherings and began its outreach into the community of Butler Township. Through various events and service projects, the Butler campus worked to see restoration for the community of Butler Township. The Butler campus continued as a campus of First Light Church until March 1st of 2023, where they were relaunched as their own autonomous church, Butler Community Church. As we look back at the history of our church, it's amazing to see how God has used the faithfulness of His people to see people come to faith in Him, and how God has grown His local body of believers. We are His church, and just as we have been since 1955, we want to be people caring for people as we connect and grow together in Christ.